Muse has absolutely been cooking with the brand new Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord Eagle Rising test update, implementing a whole wealth of brand new diplomacy options, including sending envoys and client states, which is a really cool new mechanic, as well as a ton of other diplomacy deals that you can actually do in the trade menu. The ability to form armies even if you're not in a kingdom, which is amazing. You can now also send off clan members to become mercenaries and earn you money and influence, and a ton of other things. Just to reiterate as well, this is still the Patreon only build. The big release that they're planning on doing is going to wait until the new map is done. So I'm hoping early in the new year we'll go and get our hands on that. And oh boy, am I excited with all the brand new features Muse has been making. It's going to be amazing. So the first thing that you'll be greeted with when you start a brand new Eagle Rising campaign is the extra sibling mechanic. This is basically to help you out now that there are plenty of things to do with extra family members. You can input how many more that you would like to start with. So for example, if I start with 3 extra members, they'll be brought into my clan right away. I think this is a nice little way of kicking things off and starting and giving you kind of a good advantage, because as I mentioned, there is a lot of things you can actually do with these clan members now. One of them being you can now go ahead and create mercenary bands from your family members and companions. So for example, if I go and talk to my brother, I can come down here, go, and I want you to assemble a brand new mercenary band. He will then go and create that. I can then hopefully send him out. So yeah, boom, he's just spawned in some soldiers, and now he has his very own force that he's going to go out. I can then go and tell him that I either want him to disband. I can also inform him that I want him to go serve a different kingdom and earn a better wage. This is what the other kingdoms are paying right now. So right now, Britannia's going to earn the most money, so I can now send him out, and he'll go join Britannia and then hopefully earn me some money. It's going to take him a little while to, of course, get over there, but off he goes. And then, of course, once he has done his job, I can go and talk to him, and then I can also go tell him that I want him to either serve a different kingdom. I can also say I want to join. It's kind of a funny way of like joining someone's service a little bit quicker. I can also get him to disband, and then he will also, I think, go to a city, get rid of his soldiers, and then return to me. I also believe whilst he's out there fighting as a mercenary, he will also be getting me some renown as well. So again, it's a nice little way of gaining a little bit of extra renown as well as extra money from his deeds whenever he is successful. Another thing we can do is we can come over to the smithing guild and get some experience. So basically we just work in the armory. This is gonna basically use up all the stamina that I have, and it will help me produce certain items. It will give me skills in smithing, and it's just a nice little way of having this job. I'd love for them to implement later on down the line, like something you actually have to physically do, like pick up an item, bring it somewhere, or I don't know. It'd be cool just to have kind of more of a physical thing to do when you're in the campaign map, rather than obviously just kind of this passive thing of you just not doing anything. But still, it's cool nonetheless, and you can kind of spend your stamina like this, which I think is always not a bad idea, and gain some passive experience in smithing as well is always kind of fun. I imagine, does it really get crazy if you bump up that? Does it give me like loads of points in smithing now if I give myself, I mean, it's not bad, right? A point every so often. So yeah, it's not a bad way of going up, and then of course you can spend that money in the public armory to buy some of the faction specific armors. Another thing as well is that you can now create armies even if you're not part of a kingdom, and this is just something that should just be in the base game. Like really, it's so ridiculous that it's not that you can't band together your companions to form an army to go and take other kingdoms on and stuff, and this really does encourage kind of independent play as well, which I really like. That I like that I don't have to join the standing kingdoms, and I can start my own little kingdom by doing this with my companions and stuff. So yeah, it's a really cool little feature. Of course, if I had any companion armies, they would then in turn of course be able to join me, and we can basically be roaming around the larger army a lot earlier on, as long as I can afford it. That's something that I always felt like, you know, if I could afford a large army, why not let me have it? The party limit was always kind of annoying to me, and that's kind of a good way around it. But now let's move over to the main meat and potatoes of this new update. This is going to be the client state system and the brand new diplomacy system. So as we make over, you can see that there is a new tab right here. This is the client state. This will be when you conquer someone, you'll be able to see it. You'll also be able to send envoys out to people as well. So for example, I'm currently at war with this guy right here. I can click on his portrait, set him as the target, and then down here on the left hand side, it will say that he's now been selected. I can now talk to a companion, or a party member, and they'll basically go off and seek out an audience with him. So then once you've set them as an envoy, you just have to come over to one of your companions or family members, talk to them, and then we can say, it's nice to have you with us. There's something I'd like to discuss. I need you to meet with the enemy leader to discuss important matters, and then off she goes. It will of course take some time to hunt them down, find out where they are, but she'll go out and basically do that. While she's off on her travels to do that, I'll show you a few of the other features that Muse has also implemented. So you can now buy a stall in the game by paying money, and then you can then also actually manage your stall and basically put in a bunch of items. So this is a great way if a town doesn't have any money, basically to buy all of your armors. You know, in the mid to late game, you have hundreds of pieces of weapons, and cities and towns just don't have enough. So you can buy a stall, and then the stall will slowly sell it as the city gets more money. The stall will then in turn sell that. So it's a great way to manage your inventory in the mid to late game, and of course sell them goods. Again, if we take a look, you would have seen, you can see it sold all of it because the town does have all the money it needs, but it's still a nice little feature. You'll also be able to as well adopt the local culture. So again, just like in Crusader Kings or something, if you conquer new lands and you want to maybe convert your culture to kind of be one or the other, especially if you're forming your own kingdom and you want to build up a power base somewhere which isn't necessarily a culture, you can adopt that culture and just change very, very easily. So eventually you will go and find the enemy lord. I don't know what Derhart is still doing here. Again, just keep in mind that they're transferring the map, so they've gone from Calradia to the Europe map to back to Calradia whilst they work on their new custom campaign map. That'll be much more ancient focused, so a lot of the lords and stuff just haven't been done because they're gonna have to change them. So that's why Derhart is here. Basically, you're gonna talk to him and you'll say, there's something I'd like to discuss, and then you can say, I want to become a client state of your kingdom. So by doing that, you'll see, as a client state, your kingdom will lose all diplomatic autonomy, so you won't be able to do any diplomacy, and you'll be called into all wars. So if I go to war, I'll be bringing them with me. You will also no longer be able to declare wars or negotiate peace without his approval. So again, you're going to be a client state. In exchange, you'll receive protection from the kingdom. I'm not sure as well if you actually have to pay money towards them as well for that protection. Basically, it's like a mini vassal you can send off into war. I love the feature. I think it's super cool, especially when they do their new campaign map and you don't just have these 6 massive empires. You're going to have smaller clans and kingdoms. I think it's going to make the barbarians really interesting in Gaul and Germania. Instead of having one big clan, you can have a lot smaller ones, but kind of connect them through alliances and stuff, and utilize this that way. So yeah, you can say that. You can also obviously say our realm should make peace. He actually doesn't have the authority. Can we trade with him as well? Okay, we can't actually trade with him to show that off, but it's fine. So if we, for example, we just become a vassal state of his, you can see that he's now going to be offering that right away, which is some prisoners. So for some reason, in the build that I have, you can't trade settlements, but in the screenshots I've seen from Muse, all the fiefs are actually here, and you can trade and swap settlements. Again, really love that idea. I love the idea, especially in peace deals as well, being able to give up castles to force peace through. It's a very, very cool idea. Also, because we are no longer at war as well, you can't see the other options, but I'll quickly do this with someone else. But yeah, so say for example, we become a client state of the Dacians right there. They're now going to be our overlords, and if we go over to diplomacy, you can see that we are now no longer at war with them. And then if we go there, when we go to the other view, yeah, I actually don't know where the other view has gone. Maybe it's because I have diplomacy on or something, that's why it's not showing it. But yeah, you can see right here that Macedon is now the it has an overlord, can't obviously declare its own wars and other things, so they are now stuck in there, which is really cool. You can also see as well, when you are duking it out with other lords, that you can also offer non-aggression non-aggression packs as well, which will cost you a set amount of money. And again, hopefully Muse adds in more options here. It'd be really cool for alliances, again, working similar to client states, and marriages, being able to form alliances for a set amount of date, I think would be really, really cool as well, giving a bit more of an emphasis between that. And I just really, really love the direction that this mod is going now. Muse is absolutely cooking with all these new features, and if there's something interesting that you guys think would be cool to see, make sure you put it down below in the comments. Maybe Muse will see it and think about implementing it in. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I think Eagle Rising definitely has a very bright future once they get their new map working with all the different smaller countries and the client states, and being able to form different tributaries and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be very, very dope indeed, especially with the new Macedonians and how awesome the phalanxes look. You can tell that I'm very excited for it. So if you guys enjoyed this, drop a like, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.